Remember when Brendan Fraser fought a 3,000-year-old undead priest with a cat and a sense of humor?
Look at I got.
And somehow made it the greatest adventure movie of the 90s? The Mummy came out in 1999 and grossed over $415 million worldwide. But the story of how this film actually got made is almost wilder than the movie itself. It survived a decade of failed scripts, 6 different directors, a near-fatal on-set accident, and desert temperatures that sent people to the hospital. Most fans have seen the film a dozen times, but have never heard what went on behind the scenes. Before we get into it, if this is the kind of deep dive you're into, hit subscribe. Here are 21 crazy facts about The Mummy that you probably didn't know. Hope you enjoy.
10%.
50%.
20.
40.
30.
25.
Deal.
Cut them down!
Number 21. The Mummy spent over 10 years stuck in development hell. Producers James Jacks and Sean Daniel first pitched Universal on a Mummy remake in the late 1980s. The studio said yes, but only if they kept the budget around $10 million for a low-budget horror film. What followed was one of Hollywood's most painful development cycles, burning through scripts, writers, and directors for an entire decade before a single frame was ever shot. Number 20. George Romero, the godfather of zombie movies, was the first director attached, all the way back in 1987. His version treated the Mummy as a Terminator-like force with zero personality. He drifted away, then came back in 1994 with a completely different pitch. Imhotep gets accidentally awakened by an MRI scan in a modern American hospital. Universal thought it was too dark and too violent, and passed again. Number 19. Horror legend Clive Barker, the man behind Hellraiser, wrote his own treatment in 1990. His version was described as dark, sexual, and filled with mysticism, centered on a Beverly Hills art museum director who turns out to be a cultist trying to reanimate mummies. Even Barker admitted it was too weird for the studio. A screenplay based on his treatment was written by Mick Garris in 1991, but it never went anywhere. Number 18. Joe Dante, the director of Gremlins, had one of the most ambitious visions for the project. He brought in screenwriter John Sayles and reportedly pictured Daniel Day-Lewis playing a brooding, romantic version of The Mummy. Universal wouldn't approve the higher budget. But here's the thing. One element from the Dante and Sayles draft did survive every rewrite and made it all the way into the final film, the flesh-eating scarab beetles. Next time those things burrow under someone's skin on screen, that's a leftover from the Gremlins director. Number 17. Wes Craven, the creator of A Nightmare on Elm Street, was offered the director's chair and flat out turned it down. By the mid-90s, this project had been through so many filmmakers that it seemed cursed, which, for a Mummy movie, is almost poetic. Number 16. Everything changed in 1997 when Stephen Sommers called producers Jacks and Daniel with an 18-page treatment. His big innovation was deceptively simple. Set the film in the 1920s. Every single previous version had been set in the present day. Sommers described his pitch as a kind of Indiana Jones or Jason and the Argonauts with the Mummy as the creature giving the hero a hard time. New Universal chair, Stacy Snyder loved the period setting, and the budget jumped from $15 million to $80 million almost overnight. One pitch meeting changed 10 years of failure into a green light. Number 15. There's a long-running debate about who was really offered the role of Rick O'Connell. A 1999 Calgary Sun article quotes producer James Jacks saying he offered the part to Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck, and all of them either passed or weren't available. But in a 2024 Hollywood Reporter interview, Sommers directly contradicted this, saying, "No, we only went to Brendan. Brendan loved it right away." The most likely explanation is that Jacks made those overtures before Sommers was hired as director, and once Sommers was on board, Fraser was the only choice. Number 14. It was actually the film's editor who spotted Fraser first. Bob Duxay told Sommers that even before he'd finished reading the script, he said, "Oh, this is Brendan Fraser." Sommers hadn't even seen George of the Jungle at that point. What sealed the deal was that Fraser could throw a punch and take a punch, while also having great comic timing. Plus, he stood 6'4" and weighed nearly 200 pounds, which gave the action scenes real weight. Number 13. Universal wanted an American actress for the role of Evelyn, and Rachel Weisz had to fight for it. The studio gave Sommers a list of American actresses that reportedly included Ashley Judd. Sommers pushed back, insisting, She should be English. Weisz was relatively unknown at the time, with only small parts in films like Stealing Beauty. She auditioned approximately 5 times before landing the role, largely because of her on-screen chemistry with Fraser. Number 12. Arnold Vosloo's first reaction to being offered the role of Imhotep was not exactly enthusiastic. The South African actor hadn't read the script and asked, "Am I, like, in bandages? Walking around in toilet paper?" He agreed to take the part on one condition, that he could play it completely straight. He told Summers, "This guy is doing all this because he loves this woman. From Imhotep's point of view, this is a skewed version of Romeo and Juliet." It worked so well that at the premiere, Summers' own mother leaned over and whispered, "I kind of felt sorry for the mummy." Number 11. The character of Evelyn Carnahan is named after a real historical figure, Lady Evelyn Herbert, the daughter of Lord Carnarvon, who was present at the opening of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. That's the exact era the film is set in, which makes it a deliberate Easter egg baked right into the character's name. Number 10. Ardeth Bey was supposed to die. The Magi warrior played by Oded Fehr was scripted to be killed off, but Fehr, an Israeli Navy veteran who'd been waiting tables in London before being cast, delivered such a strong performance that Summers called Universal Chair Stacy Snyder during production and asked, "Do you mind if I don't kill him off?" She agreed. Summers later admitted he suspects she had no idea which character he was even talking about. Fehr went on to be named People magazine's sexiest import of 1999. And here's a bonus detail. The name Ardeth Bey, borrowed from the 1932 original, is an anagram of Death by Ra. Number 9. Filming in the Sahara Desert nearly broke the entire production. Temperatures reportedly hit 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Every 2 hours, cast and crew were forced to drink a medical concoction to stave off dehydration. Multiple people had to be airlifted out after scorpion stings. Rachel Weisz recalled that a scorpion wrangler would collect the creatures in empty Evian water bottles and then shake them in front of people's faces, saying, "Look what we found." Number 8. Brendan Fraser had his own close encounter with Sahara wildlife. He recalled that production sent a memo describing a snake with yellow dots and warning that if it bit you, at best, they'll amputate your limb. Fraser later said he was relieving himself against a rock, looked down, and there was the yellow dot snake right next to him. He just ran. On top of that, producer James Jacks took out kidnapping insurance on each star, reportedly worth $1 million per person. Fraser's response? "So basically, you put a bounty on our head?" Number 7. The iconic sandstorm face, Imhotep's visage rising out of a wall of sand, was built using tornado simulation software originally developed for the 1996 film Twister. Industrial Light and Magic adapted those procedural particle graphics to make sand behave like a coordinated storm. Meanwhile, on the practical side, the sand blowing through keyholes effect was achieved by actually pressurizing real sand through the set pieces. Number 6. The sweeping opening shot of ancient Thebes wasn't CGI at all. ILM's model shop, led by Kim Smith, hand-built physical miniatures of the entire city using mixed media and forced perspective, based on real archaeological photographs. Combined with matte paintings, this created one of the most epic-looking sequences in the film, without a single computer-generated building. Number 5. Arnold Vosloo's digital facework was genuinely pioneering for 1999. Vosloo performed his own motion capture rather than using a stunt double. Tracking markers were placed on his skin so that CG digital prosthetic makeup could be layered over his live-action performance. But the complex software that makes this routine today didn't exist yet. According to VFX supervisor John Burton Jr., ILM artists were literally writing new algorithms and hand-animating the CG to match each marker. Vosloo also learned his ancient Egyptian dialogue phonetically with UCLA Egyptologist Dr. Stuart Smith, reportedly practicing until 3 in the morning. Number 4. Composer Jerry Goldsmith reportedly told an audience of thousands at a London concert that the film was a piece of garbage, and then went on to record one of his most celebrated late-career scores. He used a 100-piece orchestra and the Metro Voices Choir at AIR Studios in London. The score won the Film Music Critics Journal Score of the Year for 1999. Movie Music UK called it a barnstorming action score of epic proportions. Say what you will about his opinion of the movie, the man delivered. Number 3. Universal moved the release date from May 21st to May 7th, 1999, specifically to avoid opening against Star Wars. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which hit theaters on May 19th. It was a brilliant strategic call. The Mummy opened at number 1 with $43.4 million, the 9th biggest opening weekend of all time at that point, and went on to gross over $415 million worldwide on its $80 million budget. The VHS release later moved 7 million units, making it the best-selling live-action tape of the year. Number 2. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson owes his entire movie career to this franchise. Johnson made his screen debut as the Scorpion King in The Mummy Returns in 2001, which led directly to his own spin-off the following year, his first leading role. In 2022, Johnson tweeted about Brendan Fraser. "He supported me coming into his Mummy Returns franchise for my first ever role, which kicked off my Hollywood career. The combined franchise has grossed approximately $1.8 billion worldwide." Number 1. Brendan Fraser stopped breathing on set. During the hanging scene, Fraser had a real hemp rope noose around his neck for close-up shots while standing on his toes on a small platform. When Summers asked him to sell it more, a crew member pulled the rope higher on the next take. Fraser recalled, "I was stuck on my toes. I had nowhere to go but down. The next thing I knew, my elbow was in my ear. The world was sideways, there was gravel in my teeth, and everyone was really quiet." On The Late Show with David Letterman in 1999, Fraser said he had been technically dead for 12 to 14 seconds before being resuscitated. The British stunt coordinator reportedly told him afterward, "Congratulations, you're in the club." Same thing happened to Mel Gibson on Braveheart. If you enjoyed watching this video, you can click here and watch more videos like this one. So the most shocking fact about The Mummy is that its biggest star literally died making it, and the entire production only exists because one director wrote an 18-page pitch that ended 10 years of failure overnight. Here's the question. Which of these 21 facts caught you the most off guard? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more deep dives like this into the films that defined the 90s, hit subscribe. There's a lot more to cover. See you in the next one.